Hey everyone, my name is David Rao and I am the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Facebook, Instagram, a variety of places, Pinterest, when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. Tonight I'm going to be talking about two books that you can use for movement exploration with primary grades or younger grades. There are two that are kind of new to me and I'm really excited to share about them. And that'll be in just a second. Really quick, let me go over a couple things. If you hear about a book, a resource, a blog post, something in this live video that you're interested in, I have links to all those things listed on one page on my blog. You can find them by clicking the link at the bottom of the description for this video, or you can go to my blog, makemomentsmatter.org, and click the video tab. If you want to join our Facebook group, there's a group called Every Moment Matters Music Education Community. We'd love to have you join and talk, share ideas, give comments. It's a great place to learn with other folks. Okay, a couple upcoming workshops. If you're going to be around the Austin, Texas area, I'm going to be with the Capital Area ORF chapter on August 14th. So I hope you'll come out for a workshop there all about improvisation and small steps that you can take to make improvisation simple and fun and exciting for kids. And then on August 28th, if you're around Missoula, Montana, I'm going to be with the Treasure State ORF chapter talking about keeping the main thing, talking about ORF Shellwork and the basics of ORF Shellwork and how we can incorporate those ideas and concepts more easily into our everyday teaching. Okay, and let's see. I know that like back to school feels like it's like over, like we're into school now, right? And all those fun, like, hey, back to school, welcome back, like exciting things are now like over. Now we're like into it, right? Well, to keep the excitement going / help us be so excited about this school year, I'm going to have a series of giveaways in the month of September, starting with this weekend. So if you check my socials this weekend, there are going to be giveaways and promotions and things going on for you to win free stuff and like to get cool stuff. So check my socials this weekend, all the places, Facebook, Instagram, probably not X. I don't really Twitter. I'm not really a tweeter anyway, but look in all the places and find that's coming up. Oh, one more thing. Happy Labor Day. In recognition, I am wearing my DeSoto Teachers Association shirt because I'm a proud member of my local union, the DTA, the DeSoto Teachers Association. I have been a union member for a long time in any state where I can be a union member. There was a time when I was very early on in my career where I was like, oh, there's like, when I taught here in Kansas, my first teaching job, and I was like, oh, these union dues, I don't know. And like, I don't make a lot of money and like, it's money away from my paycheck. And like, I just don't know. Then I moved to Michigan and I had to teach for a year in a charter school. There were no other job openings. It was the only job I could get. And I was really lucky to get it, but it was a charter school where you could not have a union. And let me just, without going into details, let me just say a union makes so much of a difference. Then I taught in Georgia where there were no unions. And again, unions make so much of a difference. So if you live in a state where you can join your teachers union, I would encourage you to do that for the representation that it gives you when negotiating with administration, for the legal protections it gives you, for the community that it gives you, for all the ways that the union helps to give back to your to the profession, but also to help you become a better teacher. I would encourage you on this Labor Day to go and check out your local teacher union and how you can get involved. Okay, so let's talk about books for movement and movement improvisation for primary grades. I felt at the beginning of this year, I was like, I really want more resources for teaching movement to make it feel more just simple and fun, and like, how do I do that? And what can I do to get my students excited about it? Man, I wish I had more resources. And then at the beginning of the school year, my school, and I know many schools around the country, do this thing where like teachers take the stuff that like don't really want and they like put it in the teacher's lounge or put it in the hallway or whatever before school. It's like a garage sale sort of thing, only instead of paying $1 or $2 for every item, they're all just free. Just like take it or else it's going to be thrown in the dumpster. Okay, I love those weeks. And the teachers at my school know that I love those weeks. And so sometimes I'll get a text like, hey, Mrs. Smith just put some more stuff out or whatever. Or weren't you looking for bins this size? Like they all know that I'm interested. And I think part of that is that I grew up the son of a K-12 art teacher. My mom was an art teacher, and mom was constantly like, oh yeah, save those toilet paper rolls. We're going to use those for a project. Or like, oh, we got to save these yogurt containers. They're perfect for paintbrushes or whatever. And so I find a use for a lot of things. So anytime we have those like weeks where there's like stuff sitting out, you can believe that I'm going to be going through the books and looking through the bins and doing all the stuff. And sometimes there are some times where I will be like, oh, wow, look at all these cool resources for like reading, or like, oh, look, Math Street. Someone's putting out their old Math Street stuff that they don't want. Well, I'm not going to teach that. But the bin it comes in is really great. So I like take the stuff, dump out the math resources, and take the bin. You never know. You can find some really great stuff. Anyway, this year I found 2 books that I've already used and I'm so excited about. So I wanted to share those books with you and talk about how I use them for movement exploration with younger grades. The first one is called In the Small, Small Pond. The second book is called Pete's a Pizza. Pete, apostrophe S, Pete's a Pizza. So those are coming up, and I'm going to start with In the Small, Small Pond. This book is a Caldecott Award book. It was written by Denise Fleming. Both of these books, because they were cast-offs, like the first one was actually in our school library. It was like, it wasn't checked out enough, so they discarded it. Or maybe they had a couple copies and they like discarded down to 1 or whatever. So this one was a freebie. It was actually in our school library. Pizza was also discarded. And so that means that these books have been around for a little while, which means you can probably find nice discount copies of them, or find them for free, or find them in, half-price books or whatever. I actually have a blog post, which I have linked on the links page, about how to find discount or used books or get books from different places, how you can get those without breaking the bank. There are a lot of places where you can buy books at full price. If you're buying books at full price, I would encourage you to look at places like music stores like Sweet Pipes or Music is Elementary or West Music, or something where you are supporting a music education vendor and not a huge big box store. Okay, I'm just going to throw that out there. If you're buying full price. Otherwise, if you're buying discount books, like I said in my blog post, I talk about all the ways you can buy discount books, where you can buy them, and some of my favorite tips and tricks on doing that. So I linked that in the links page. But let me start by reading just a little bit of In the Small, Small Pond, and I'll talk about how I've used it already this year. So, In the Small, Small Pond by Denise Fleming. In the small, small pond, wiggle, jiggle, tadpoles wriggle. Super cool image of a frog jumping through a bunch of tadpoles. I don't love the red eyes, but other than that, great first start. Waddle, wade, geese, parade. So there's Mama Goose with her little goslings following her. Hover, shiver, wings, quiver. A little image of some dragonflies flying over some lily pads. Drowse, doze, eyes, close. Some pictures of turtles sitting on a log in the pond. Lash, lunge, herons, plunge. So some herons, the birds, plunging their beaks into the water to try and catch fish. Splitter, splatter, minnows scatter. And why are they scattering? They're scattering because the frog just jumped into the pond right where the minnows were, and so they all scattered away. Circle, swirl, whirligigs twirl. So it's those little water bugs on the top of the water just spinning around, moving around in the water. Sweep, swoop, swallows scoop. What are the swallows scooping off the top of the water? Maybe just some water. Or maybe they're eating those whirligig bugs. Who knows? Click, clack, claws, crack. So this is like little crayfish or something on the side of the pond using their little pinchers. Dabble, dip, tails flip. So birds that are flipping over and reaching down into the water to grab something. Splish, splash, pause, flash. A raccoon reaching into the water, cleaning something off probably, like they do. Pile, pack. Muskrats, stack. So they're stacking things up on the side of the pond. Chill breeze, winter, freeze. Cold night, sleep tight, small, small pond. Okay, super cool book and lots of descriptive language. So the first thing I say to students is, did you notice on every page there was one animal that traveled through every page? What could it be? Maybe even look at the front of the book. There is an animal in the front. It's that frog, right? And so the frog, he jumps through on literally every page. It starts by him jumping into the pond, going through the tadpoles, going next to the geese parading, going underneath the hovering, shivering dragonflies. And so what I let the kids do is on each page, we pick something that we get to recreate. This works really well. I did it this year with kindergarten, and I tried it with first grade. I wanted to see how it would work. Would it work? It worked great with first grade, so I tried it with kinder because there was like a weird random time in kindergarten where I was like going to have one class that I wasn't going to stay out of the rotation or whatever. And I was like, great, I'm going to try it. So we talked about how those animals might move. And at the beginning of the year, I like doing things like this, which is kind of like movement exploration, but structured by giving words to them to recreate. It's fun because it really expands the language and lets them try fun words that are just fun and descriptive. But the other thing I really like about it is it gives kids a chance to move through the space in my room and to explore that space. And so when they're moving the first times, I always say, like, you can move as long as you're on the carpet. So there's like a ramp that goes up to the stage, and thank goodness there's no carpet on it, so they can't go that far. When they leave to my room to go in the hallway, the carpet stops. So when they're pretending to be these creatures, they can move anywhere they want in the room, not behind the teacher's desk. But they can go anywhere else as long as they're not touching anyone or anything. So it's both like an exercise to get them moving through the room, but also to explore how they can move through the space without running into other people, without bumping into other things. And it gives them a chance not just to explore how they might move through the room, but a lot of kids really want to like look and see what's in the room, especially kindergarten. They're like, what are those big drum things? I want to go look at them. What's up that ramp? I want to see what's up there. And so this gives them a chance to do something on task where they're not just randomly wandering around the room. They're given a task to move a certain way. They're allowed to be silly. They're allowed to play with their friends a little bit and also move around and explore the room. So I love that aspect to this book. So when we're going through, there are a couple things that I call out. So in the small pond, it's small. There's not a lot of room, kind of like this room. It's not the gym, so you can't go running. It's not the playground, so you can't be screaming and jumping like crazy. You have to be kind of controlled, because if you're going to jump or skip or hop or move, there are people all around, and if you're not careful, because it is this small pond, you could run into somebody else. So be careful as we move. So that's one of the things, just even as we start out. Oh, and the first thing, we got to jump like that frog. Okay, so we do a little frog jump. And then we talk about tadpoles. How do tadpoles move? It says that they wiggle and they jiggle. And they don't have any arms in their legs. So this is where kids are like standing and they're doing like, with their hands at their side and not moving around the room, just like wiggling and wriggling, which is fun. The geese parade. So I say, okay, well then someone's going to have to move and someone else is going to have to follow. How could we do that? And so we move around the room either with kids following me or us following one leader kid. It's whatever we want to do. Some kids are like, it has to be Jonathan because he's the teacher's helper or whatever. He's the line leader today. Okay, so we go and we parade around, we waddle. And because then they say, well, it's not just walk behind, it's waddle behind. What's that going to look like? Hover, shiver, wings quiver. So we talk about wings. Is this going to be the wings of an eagle? Is it going to be a different kind of wings? Is it hummingbird wings? How do dragonfly wings move? How are you going to do that? So it gives us a specific way that you can move. Drowse, doze, eyes closed. This is fun because then it's like a super quick change from like the dragonflies, which are fast, to something slow and more sustained. The herons plunging, their heads are plunging. How are you going to work? How are you going to move like that? The minnows scatter. Are we going to let one person jump? Maybe I'll do the jumping like the frog and all of you get to scatter away from me. What's that going to look like? Got to do it without running into anyone. You know, this is another one fun, the whirligigs, because we talk about personal space in class. Like, you should be able to draw a circle around you without anyone or anything in that space. So this is our chance to practice that as we move through the room. Practice that personal space. There should be a little bubble where the whirligig is the only thing inside the bubble. You're the whirligig, right? So it gives us a chance to practice and try that. Sweep, swoop, swallow, scoop. What is a scoop going to look like? Click, clack, claws, crack. Oh, but don't let those claws crack and pinch somebody else. You got to stay in your own space. Dabble, dip, tails, flip. Okay, now this means your bottom's going to go up high and your head's going to go low. Oh, is that okay? It's going to be a little silly. Is that all right? Is silly okay? Yes. The book says we have to. It's okay to be a little silly. And then splish, splash, pause, flash. So this means that their paws, their hands get to be the things that move. I love when they pile and stack. That means you're going to have to work with someone else to move, to put things together, to stack on top. And then the freeze comes, chill breeze, winter freeze. So you have to freeze wherever you are. Or maybe that means you're moving, and slowly you have to slow down and finally come to one final position and freeze. So this book, it is super fun to set up those expectations for kindergarten or first grade. You could do it with older grades, absolutely. But then you could just tweak things a little bit so that you can give some cues and words that maybe force them to do a little bit more. So like the teamwork, or maybe you have them work in a small group for the whole book. So that small group works together to recreate a little tableau for each page. There are a lot of options for this if you wanted to make it an older grade lesson. But it works perfectly for kinder or first grade to set some of those expectations about how do we move through the room, personal space, movement is different than movement in the gym, all sorts of cool stuff that you can pull from this one little book. Okay, another super fun one, Pete's a Pizza. This one is by William Steig. I don't know. But as I was pulling this from the discard pile, the teacher discard pile, there were like 4 copies. So you'll probably be able to find it. I believe you'll be able to find it. It's a really cool book. So Pete's in a bad mood. Just when he's supposed to go play ball with the guys, it decides to rain. It's like just when it's like the first week and you're really excited, you want to go out to play recess, you want to play gaga ball. Oh, it's going to be great. And then it's raining. Or for us this last week, the heat index is too high and you can't go out because the district says that it's a heat advisory and you're not allowed to be outside when it feels like it's over 105 degrees. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so you can't go outside. Whatever the reason is, you can't go outside. Okay. Pete's father can't help noticing how miserable his son is. He thinks it might cheer Pete up to be made into a pizza. Wait, what? I thought it said it might cheer Pete up to make a pizza, but it says he thinks it might cheer Pete up to be made into a pizza. Wait a minute. So he sets him down on the kitchen table and starts kneading the dough. But Pete is the dough. Look, he's the dough. Oh my gosh, what? And so this is when kids are like, what is happening? Okay, so kneading, remember, is when you take that dough and you push it and you pull it and it's really, you gotta like, you squish it and stuff. And you're stretching it this way and that. Look, he's stretching poor Pete's leg. Oh my gosh. Now the dough gets whirled and twirled up in the air. That's when the pizza makers throw the dough up and like spin it and stuff. Oh my gosh. Next, some oil is generously applied. Oil to Pete. Oh wait, it says it's really water. That's not so bad, but that would still not be so much fun. Then comes some flour. Flour, he's adding flour. Oh, it says it's really talcum powder. It's like baby powder. That's not so bad. And then some tomatoes. They're putting tomatoes right on Pete. Wait, no, it says they're really checkers. Okay, that is silly because pepperoni do kind of look like the red checkers, right? Not the black ones, but the red ones. That'd be black olives maybe. I don't know. Pete can't help giggling when his mother says she doesn't like tomatoes on her pizza. All right, says his father, no tomatoes, just some cheese. The cheese is pieces of paper. How about some pepperoni, Petey? Dad says to Pete. Pete can't answer because he's only some dough and stuff. See, he's not talking. Dad's like listening, he's not talking. But when that dough gets tickled, it laughs like crazy. Oh my gosh, they're tickling the dough. Pizzas are not supposed to laugh, says Dad. Okay, that is silly. Because, like, if you got tickled, of course you're going to laugh. Pizza makers are not supposed to tickle their pizzas, says Pete. Okay, this is a funny book. All right, let's see. Well, says his father, it's time for the pizza to be put in the oven. They're not really going to put Pete in the oven, are they? That's not safe. Oh, wait, look where they're putting him. Oh, they're putting him on the couch. Oh, that's fun. Ah, now our pizza's nice and hot. Okay, that was silly. You know what else? They could have covered him with a blanket. I would have gotten him hot. Pete's father brings the pizza to the table. Now it's time to slice our pizza. Are they going to cut up poor little Petey? But the pizza runs away, and the pizza maker chases it. The pizza gets captured and hugged. I'm glad it says it didn't get, the pizza gets captured and devoured. That would be terrible. Now, the sun has come out. And so the pizza decides to go look for his friends. The end. Oh my gosh, it's such a fun, silly little book because Pete is like sad, and so his dad's like, we're gonna have fun with this. And so what happened? And so we talked through the story that Pete pretends to be the pizza, and so then Dad gets to like do all the things, and you have to pretend that it's the pizza. Okay, so then I say, you know what? I haven't had lunch yet today, and I'm feeling like pizza would be great. And I see 19 little personal pan pizzas. And the kids are like, ooh. Okay, so then we spread out, we find a little spot, and then we go through, we start the story. We're sad because we can't go out to recess or whatever. Mr. Rao thinks it might be fun. It might cheer Miss, Mendez's class up to be related to pizzas. And so then we go through for each thing, we need the dough. What's that going to look like? If you're the dough and there's somebody pressing and pulling and using their hands, how are you going to move? And so in their personal spaces, again, they get to move, roll around, squish, pull out, whatever they think would work for being made into dough. I did this with the first grade this last week. Amazing, hilarious. And again, it was partially, yes, we're exploring and trying the book, but also we're talking about like, how do you move without running into other people? How do you move in your personal space? If you're rolling around on the floor like a piece of dough that's being squished and squished, can you still maintain a personal space? Yes, we got to practice that. So we roll around, we stretch. That's really fun too. So we push together and pull apart and push together and pull apart. The throwing into the air. They decided that they would need to do a jump spin, obviously. Then we start putting things on the pizza. And so I say, hold very still. And we pretend we're putting things on. And then we didn't actually drop things on kids, right? But I said, are there some things in here that we could use? What could we use? So some flour. They talked about some different things that could be flour. We could use for flour. Or other things in the school that could be flour, tomatoes. I pulled out some castanets and they look kind of like that. And then let's see, the cheese. We talked about different things you could use for cheese. Maybe if we went back to our classroom, what could we do? But again, it was also like, if you're the kid on the thing and I'm tossing those things on you, how are you going to react? You can't move because you're a pizza. And they're like, but now it's hitting really hard. And how would you react? So like they're still having fun being silly. And then when you get to the page when the dough laughs when it gets tickled, they all I didn't even have to say anything. They're like, ah, and rolled around and laughed. It was so funny. Okay, and then we talked about you're not supposed to laugh. And they got to say to me, well, you're not supposed to be tickling the pizza dough. And then I said, okay, where are we going to put you into an oven? Is there a place in here that could be an oven? For each one of you, it can't be all the same place for every person. So one kid went over and he did a plank on my reading chair. One kid went under a stool. Another kid went over in front of my desk. Another kid went they all went different places around the room. One kid even did this over the top where he held his hands over the top of himself so it looked like he was covered in the oven. Hilarious. And then we came back and we cut ourselves up. How are we going to cut? Or then I said, you have the roller. so we are both the pizza getting cut up and then also the pizza cutter. And then the pizza, I said, okay, you can't really move, but if I'm going to chase you, show me what you're going to do. So as non-locomotor movement, because we talked about, I said, oh, you can't move, can't be locomotor, but it can be non-locomotor. How can we move? What if I'm going to chase you? What are you going to look like? How's that going to be? So this gave us a lot of time to explore and move and create. It was really fun. It's not as much moving through the room as in the small pond is, which gives you a lot more chance for moving around the room because so much of this happens in one place. So it's really great if you want to focus on like your own self space, your own personal space, but still movement in that space. You can have non-locomotor movements that are fun and exciting, but that don't move you through the space, So kneading the dough, pulling the dough, adding some oil to the dough. When we played around with that with one class, it was if you add oil, it makes the dough more gloopy and it'll move a little bit more fluid. And then you put flour on the dough and it makes it a little bit harder. How is that going to move differently? I'll put more oil on, So going from this like really slow, slick, gentle movement to more movement with more effort, more energy, more strength in it. So it was really fun to explore those things just by talking about, are you adding oil or are you adding flour? Like, how's that going to change the consistency of the dough? Obviously, they don't know because they don't like make pizza dough. But when I said oil makes the dough more stretchy and more smooth and lets it move sort of more like taffy. But when you put flour on it, it makes it get really sort of more tough, like Play-Doh that's been on a long time. It's hard to pull it. Oh no. So we got to play around. It was just so exciting and so much fun. And there was like so many cool moments where we got to explore and try the movement in different ways. So 2 books that are brand new to me. In the Small Pond by Denise Fleming. Like I said, this is a Caldecott honor book, so probably there are just a bajillion copies out there. Let's look at the publication date because, yep, copyright 1993. So it's been out a long time, which means that probably there are a lot of copies floating around, and as a Caldecott honoree, so that means there are probably double the normal copies that normally would be. And Pizza, I know I've seen this in many classrooms. I also saw it in like my nephew's bookshelf. I've seen it in lots of places. So I know that there are many copies of these too. If you are buying books, like I said, on my blog, there's a whole blog post about where to buy books, how to get them at a discount, how to get them not at full price. If you're going to buy full price, I would encourage you to, like, I know this is the season to put it on your Amazon wish list and let the PTA or families or whoever buy things for you. And I absolutely understand that. But you could also say, hey, there's this other company that'd be really great. If you want to buy some other stuff, it's called West Music, or it's called Sweet Pipes, or it's called whatever. And it's one of my favorite vendors, and they don't get as much action as Amazon. I would encourage you, here's a link if you want to get, I know it's another couple steps. It's not as easy, but if you would be interested, like put that in the blog post or in the Facebook post next to your Amazon wish list, or put that, like here are 2 or 3 vendors, or here's some links that also would be great. Thank you. Just so that folks know that they can buy from places other than Amazon if they want. Okay. 2 cool books, really great. I hope you check those out. Also, as I said at the beginning of the video, because back to school, like excitement is like coming to an end and we're having to deal with the fact that there's a whole school year ahead of us, I thought it'd be fun to have some giveaways to like lighten the mood, make you excited. So throughout the month of September on weekends, I'm going to have different giveaways and promotions and things every weekend, starting this weekend. So this Friday, check my socials, my Facebook page, my Instagram page, and check out where you can enter giveaways for really cool stuff this weekend, next weekend, the weekend after. There are exciting things coming. So check those out. I hope you had a great day off today, and hope you have a super fun week with your kids this week. I'll see you back next week for another Musical Mondays video. Bye, everyone.